educator from Harlem.
Well, for one, I was obviously getting to know Emily, and I felt like she was there with her family. If I would have told her separately, she would have taken her aside, or whoever aside. Right, but I agreed to that later on, but that's for you guys to, see in the season throughout. But basically, at the end of the day, I did it, I owned it. I felt like I needed to tell her. I was just in awe of what she was doing, and I felt like I needed to tell her then and there. That was just my choice.
Your intentions were good.
Right, and exactly. Like, editing is editing, and that's it. Like,
Hey.
Editing, that's it, yes.
She was editing.
Yeah, right. I tell them this is not a magic box, this camera. Everything you say, everything you do is what we have to edit. Anybody else? There was nothing on the show that inspires a question.
It seemed like you, Yandy, felt like Chrissy was out of line in that fight scene. From your perspective, was your perception that Kim's intentions were good and that was an appropriate form to do that?
Well, I feel like this. With women, you tell one person and it's like a telephone. She said she dated Fab. It would have been, I did this with Fab. I was swabbing his knob in the club. It just would have went on. It would have went crazy from each ear to the next ear. So I feel like her doing it in that forum, it cut out the rumors, it cut out the back talk, and she said what she has to say. She did what she had to do. Now, do I feel like she could have pulled her aside? Absolutely. Would I have probably wanted someone to pull me aside? Yeah. But for her to let everyone know, look, this is what it is. I dated him, and I didn't know about you. Emily said, I'm fine with that. Let's toast it up and let's move on. So we should have toasted it up and we should have moved on. Period, point blank. Someone else being offended or feeling like they wanted the Evelyn moment, that's their thing. But it wasn't their fight, and that's just how I feel personally.
And why do you guys feel she felt like that? Chrissy being the one to jump
I don't know.
I still don't know.
Don't ask me, because I have
Nancy Jones. The question I have to ask you is, do you think what you did affected you and your son's relationship?
Hell no, my son already know me.
Okay.
What I wanted to do.
How is your relationship with your son now?
It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's gotten better, due to the fact that, he expressed how he feels. He let me know he's not going to let it go. And I said, well, fine, I'll give it a go. But you know what, as for right now, I'll go along with it until God says otherwise.
Leslie?
Now, I just have a quick question for Mommy Jones. So, based on this, we haven't seen the rest of the season, but what we're trying to figure out now is obviously your relationship with you and Chrissy and this whole thing. So, how do you feel? Once you proposed, obviously we saw that you were upset with the whole situation, but going forward, there was not a commitment. So, how do you feel about what this relationship looks like now?
I don't know. I told him he got 15, 20 years to be engaged, and that's all I'm saying.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's for Yandy Smith. As a professional in the industry, and I know you worked in it in a while, what is it like to deal with the baby mamas, the side pieces? Why does that cross over into your world? And what is that like as somebody that's growing someone else's career, like Jim's and Missy's and Buster's?
Honestly, we really shouldn't get involved with it, but it's life, we're human, and so many times we're more than just managers, we're advisors, we're best friends, we're sisters, we're therapists. We're the shoulder to cry on when people are getting, going through relationship problems. And you are what you need to be for your client, and that's who I've been, and that's, who I'll continue to be. So yeah, I've dealt with the baby mamas, the girlfriends, the wives.
The mother.
Definitely. You roll with the punches.
Right.
You got what you have to do.
Yeah.
I have a question for Kim. Were you surprised seeing Christine's initial reaction at the majority event about your outfit? And she seemed to kind of like you from the beginning. So is there some backstory there?
Well, still, to this day. It's unfortunate.
Kay.
This is for Yandy.
Kay Fox in the house, everybody.
What's the relationship like between you, Jim, and Chrissy now?
Well, you see on the show, everything plays out. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but you'll see it on the show. I'll spoil it if I tell you guys now.
Don't spoil.
So that must be a hot mess.
No, you'll see.
Sincere.
I have two questions. The first one for Yandy and Kimbella.
Coming to the show, did you feel like you were outsiders coming into an established situation? Was that how did that feel for you?
No, not at all. The reason why I decided to do the show was because I felt like there needed to be a new outlook on these women. I wanted to show that you can own your own condo, you can own your own crib, you can do all this, and not on the back of a man, and not because you're, you know, you're the woman. So I felt like that story needed to be told as well, because we do a lot of the holding down behind the scenes, and that's kind of the story. So I didn't feel like I was on the outside at all. But I knew Olivia, we used to manage her. Christy, you know, 8-year relationship through Jim. And then Kim, of course, one of my good friends. And Samaya I just met, and Emily I just met.
And Yandy actually was on the show because she's made in my image.
Hello.
Yandy started out as my intern.
Just to answer you, well, for me, I feel the opposite. I definitely came in not knowing really pretty much none of the women, and I wanted them to get to know me. They all obviously had a perception of me, and I felt like, you know, please just give me a chance. Get to know me. That's all I'm here to do. I'm not here to take nothing from nobody. So.
Yeah.
All white cast and all black cast. When you do these shows, it's a hyper version of your life. It's like being in therapy. So every little sort of conflict, every joyous moment is amped up, and I think that does lead to some of that. And also, we're doing commercial enterprise, and let's be honest, like people want to see sort of a more dramatic approach to it. And really, what it is, it just hyper focuses sort of like your joys, your sadnesses, your beefs, and also. The other thing that we do oftentimes is we ask people to sort of stay away from what we would normally do in our everyday lives when we sort of like lie socially. Oh, you look wonderful today, you know, I feel great. And what we do is we say, cut past that, tell us what you really think, give us the subtext. And because we're asking people to sort of expose themselves that much, it amps up every emotion. I think that's what you see here.
Let me ask you a question. I want to just say this one last thing. Well, you know, on the Basketball Wives, no, but Shawnee,
The other show.
Yes, the other show. But Shawnee was like, you know, they were trying to really focus. No, I'm not. That's why I know I do TV. I know what you're doing. So I'm like, but like, she's saying like now she wants to start focusing on their charitable, you know, and their entrepreneurial things and all of that. So are we going to see more of that kind of play out with whoever has businesses, or if they're like launching charities or?
Well, we do cover a lot of different aspects of their lives. And again, you're going to see as the season continues that it's not all the drama. We put all of that stuff in the
Face you want to put. There's two sides to every person. You know, there's a side that you want people to know, and there's the side that you keep hidden. And I think that if you understand that even going in front of the camera, this is a job, and at my job, this is how I want to be portrayed. And you know, it's about remembering that, and sometimes you might forget because the cameras are there, but at the end of the day, who do you want people to know you as? What do you want to say? What do you want to do? And if you have something to say to people, you won't act a damn fool.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Or you have a job.
She's a Mona protege. That's the
molded.
I had a question for you, Mona, because you're a music mogul, so your genre is hip hop and the whole nine. What made you decide to step into this area of like reality TV? What made you decide to go this route?
It wasn't so much that I wanted to do reality television, but I've been wanting to transition in my own career for a while. And, you know, back in 2005, I produced, you know, a show with Missy Elliott with UPN. I really enjoyed that process. And I've been, you know, trying to develop other projects since then. And when I moved away from Violator and started Mona Me, and Yandy joined me after having, you know, been managing Jim solo, she started talking to me about this project that she had with Jim that they had set up at VH1. And I guess for a number of years, they weren't able to get the project off the ground. And, well, Jim, you should tell this story better than I do, because I like to think I came along and made it happen.
I'd met Jim on a documentary called, I think it was TV's Illest Minority Moments, or Race-O-Rama. It was a project that we did with... it was the White Rapper Show, but Jim was one of the talking heads on Race-O-Rama, and I thought he had a great style. I thought he was funny. I liked his vibe, and I wanted to do a New York-based hip-hop show, and I met with Jim and Yandy in my office, and Jim was incredibly open about hip hop. He told me a story about going down to Miami where he was going to make about, I don't know, 25,000, but he was flying 20 guys down. And I said, "What does that cost you to fly 25 guys down?" He goes, "About 26,000." I'm going, help me understand hip hop. So we were going to do a show about, we were going to draw back the curtain on hip hop, and I thought Jim was like a great character to do it. So I hired 2 guys to shoot the reality show. And Jim did not want to cooperate with them at all. And in fact, every time they tried to shoot with him, he was screaming at them. But one of Jim's videographers was shooting that, and they sent me the tape back, and that was really funny. These 2 incredibly corny producers that didn't know how to sort of speak Jim's language, trying to produce him. So we were going to do the show about these very white producers delving into the world of hip hop. And we shot a great 12-minute tape, but it felt really limited once I saw it. It felt like, oh, it's a joke, it'll last for an episode, and then people will be done with it. And so we shot a pilot. I met Mona. We brought Chrissy in. We met Nancy, and I said, like, this is a guy who's got a very rich family around him with really strong women, Yandy, Nancy, Chrissy, and I thought, like, that's really the show, with Jim almost sort of like the way to bring it in, but make it about the women. But meeting Mona was sort of allowed me to really understand that this is a person that understood this world a lot better than I could ever understand it. And I asked her to sort of produce the show because I felt that I could get a much stronger, realer show if I had a guiding force that really understood these characters, really understood the situation, and really understood what women go through. And she's done it. She's done it expertly. I mean, I think the show's successful, because of her. She's been a great partner.
Yes, so this is the second season with the New York-based show. Have you thought about franchising this, like basketball?
Of course.
We have absolutely thought about it, and we are hoping. I mean, we'd love to see all the characters on the show spin off. We'd like to go into every city in America. So we absolutely. Is it safe to say that?
Love and Hip Hop Wichita.
Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is good. That's right. There's so much drama in the debacle down there. Those McMansions, that's wealth down there. That's a good show.
We got a lot of good shows.
Yeah.
Streets of Harlem to everywhere. From the streets of Harlem to everywhere.
This one's for you. For you.
Blow your smoke.
Where that sour at?
And if you ride high, put your lighters up in the air.
Put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up.
Blow your smoke.
I'm blowing smoke from a top back. I got my gun on me on top that. She started pressing buttons, told her stop that. Can't front, I was watching where the cops at. The sun is out, my wrist rocked up. I miss all my niggas locked up. Saw I roll a blunt for the good times. We was just in the slums like good times. Keep a bad bitch like Bologna. Me and Doe was doing Hennies and Coronas. Hustle hard, getting money, they was on us. And we still pouring liquor for the donors. We blow smoke like we blow money. For real. It's no joke, but it's so funny. She ate me up and said it's so yummy. The niggas show hate, but the hoes love me.
Fuck 'em. This goes out from the streets of Harlem to everywhere. Blow your smoke. And if you ride high, put your lighters up in the air. Blow your smoke.
Spend a couple G's on my bitch's purse.